The United States Grand Prix has really disappointed since the inauguration of COTA. This weekend, the circuit in Texas is the next battleground for the Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen title fight. In 1908, a Grand Prix is organised for the first time in America. In 7 hours, Frenchman Louis Wagner wins on behalf of the Fiat team and the first American GP, as the race is called at the time. Through the years, also in Milwaukee, Santa Monica and San Francisco and Riverside have been visited for such a race, before the American Grand Prix really appears on the F1 calendar in 1959. After an attempt at Sebring and Riverside in 1961, Watkins Glen is founder of the circuit. F1 will run out for many years. It's mainly a British affair, with winners such as Graham Hill and Jackie Stewart, and James Hunt and Lewis Hamilton has also gone on to be successful. At the end of 1980, Watkins Glen said goodbye before F1 returned to Phoenix in 1989. They didn't race there for long, however it's pulled again. Indianapolis is a big name, but F1 is not alive in America. When the race was run with 6 cars in 2005 due to a problem with Michelin tyres, the fans show up less and less. In 2007, the last race was held at the legendary circuit, and the winner was a young Lewis Hamilton. In 2012, F1 soon returned to America at the COTA. Hamilton continued his run and won the first editions. After one victory from Sebastian Vettel, 4 more victories followed for Hamilton, giving him 6 victories here. Due to the coronavirus, F1 didn't race here in 2020. In 2019, Valtteri Bottas got the win. Lewis Hamilton finished second, but won his 6th title. Verstappen came third. COTA has 5.514 kilometres and is 20 corners long. The circuit was designed by Hermann Tilke, generally regarded as one of his better circuits. The most striking of the circuit is the first sector. It looks like a mix of the first sector in Japan and Maggots and Beckett's in Silverstone. The height differences make it a challenge for everyone. Besides the fast technical sector one, there is a second sector full of power, and then the third sector is another technical straight. Mercedes have won 5 of 8 races on the COTA, and on top of what Hamilton's first win at the circuit for McLaren, so it's clear that power plays an important role here. As Kimi Räikkönen's 2018 victory for Ferrari also suggests, it doesn't mean everything. Indeed, as mentioned, the circuit is also technically challenging, not just for the drivers, but also for the cars that could well be to Red Bull's advantage. In 2021, Mercedes has had the upper hand on high-speed circuits and medium high-speed circuits, but Red Bull is very strong on the slow corners where more grip is needed. Mercedes and Red Bull were closer to each other all this year than they were during the last editions in Texas. However, despite the big difference back then, Verstappen was always able to perform well at COTA. Despite the track showing signs of the Mercedes circuit, Red Bull and Verstappen can also be successful there. After many rain races, the drivers can finally prepare for a dry race again. At least that seems to be the case, according to weather.com, with the rain chance only 7% on Friday and Saturday and Sunday 24%. In case of rain, there's still no problem, because during the last races in Europe, often it didn't get warmer than 20 degrees. If Texas will be warmer than 30 degrees, it will be tough for them to manage. With the last 2 Grand Prix in the back of their minds, Mercedes must be favourites for this one. The speed that Valtteri Bottas and Hamilton showed was seriously impressive at Turkey. There was a small chance Red Bull could close it down, but I think the circuit of the Americas will suit Mercedes. But yeah, you can't rule Verstappen out with how strong he's been and with how much more competitive Red Bull has been recently. Another team to keep an eye on would be McLaren and Lando Norris. With a long straight, they could be very solid here.
In the paddock on Thursday and Friday, the main stories were once again about engine penalties, with Valtteri Bottas taking another ICE, yet another one, only a 5-place grid drop. To be honest, this came as a big shock, but if you look into it, because the Monza engine broke after one race, this was always expected, and Mercedes tactically taking it this weekend. Vettel and Russell will also take a penalty, and then there wasn't a whole lot in lot of stories in the paddock, mainly about how bad 2022 cars feel. But yeah, moving on to free practice 1, and yeah, it was Mercedes dominance. I thought I'd taken a time machine back to 2014 or 2015 here, because Mercedes were absolutely dominant. Valtteri Bottas topped just about from Lewis Hamilton, and then 9 tenths behind was Max Verstappen in the Red Bull. And yeah, afterwards Sky made this discovery. So where Mercedes are gaming is they can lift the suspension up during the straights, give them extra performance, and then they can increase the size of the wing to give them more speed around the corners. Very clever, and it all seems legal. But moving on to practice 2, and it seems to be a lot more equal between Mercedes and Red Bull, with Sergio Perez topping the time by 2.5 tenths from Lando Norris. Hamilton and Bottas were behind. Hamilton probably would have gone to the top of the times by a tenth or two, had his lap time not been deleted, and Verstappen didn't get a clean lap in, but on race runs it did seem quite close as well. So yeah, definitely seems like Red Bull pulled back a big margin, and maybe they were sandbagging in the first practice session, or Mercedes was sandbagging here. It'll be interesting to see which one it is.
Before I go, here is my predictions for this weekend. On pole, I'm going to say Lewis Hamilton. He just loves this circuit, and with Mercedes, I think they will have the best car, so it's hard to look past him, and I think he will convert it into a win. In second, I think it will be Valtteri Bottas. He's on a great run of form at the moment, and yeah, we've seen how strong that Mercedes is in the past few races. I think Verstappen will come in home in third, but yeah, I definitely think this will be a Mercedes weekend before maybe swinging back to Red Bull more in Mexico and Brazil. But anyway guys, that's it for the video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, remember to post, comments down below, follow my link description for daily F1 news, and subscribe to my channel, and I'll be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.